What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Adam and you are watching the MSR Workshop. So if you noticed on the internet lately, or if you followed lasers, you'll know that there has been a ton of releases of diode lasers from so many different companies. It seems like Xtool D1 and the Xtool company has just been everywhere on the YouTube channels, and a number of other companies have released lasers. Recently, OMTech just came out with a diode laser. I think it is still in the pre-order stage. And other companies like AtomStack and just a number of different companies seem to be all wanting to get in the laser game. And why is that? Because they are a lot of fun. Well, there is no exception that this laser right here is from a company called Longer. They reached out to me and wanted me to take a look at one of their machines. This happens to be their Ray5. This is their 5 watt. They make a 10 watt and I believe they have a 30 watt as well. I think they also have a 20 watt, but don't quote me on that. But I'll make sure to leave links below where you can pick these up and learn more about them. But what we are going to do today is unbox this, take a look at it, and because it is a 5 watt, I currently have an AtomStack 5 watt as well. And we're going to kind of compare the two. This one, however, is different. There's a lot of cool features on this one that I'm really excited to learn about and to check out. So let's take a look at what's in this box. So let's open this up and take a look to see what we've got. Starting off, you have a quick start guide and a parts list of what should come with it. Power cord, safety glasses. Oh, they send you some spare wood to try out. Control box to support feet. And some various other goodies. So we're going to set that aside. So, like most of these other machines out there, your top gantry is usually assembled for you. This is no exception. That is assembled for us and slides pretty nicely here. These are quite common roller guides that you would see on a lot of 3D printers. They work well, they do wear eventually, so they can have to be replaced. But depending on how much you use this, just will depend on the longevity of these. Your green safety glasses. This does work off a printer style USB, and I still wonder to this day why people have not gone to the standard shape of USB. It would be so much easier to find longer cables, because sometimes you need a long cable without having to order one. You got a bag of parts. This is the part that I've really wanted to check out. This is the control module, and supposedly it comes with a touch screen. So kind of excited to try that out. You got your small TIFF card at the top, your plug for your USB cable, which I wish put on the side because then it just keeps the cable management all to the side. And then you have a plug right here, which I'm also quite excited about. This is for the air assist, I think. Don't quote me on that. They sent me an air assist. but this actually looks like it's a power cord. So we'll check that out here in just a second. This is your 5-watt laser module. And it says model Ray5, optical power 5.5 watts. And just looking over this, this does not include an air assist, but we have an air assist kit. I don't know if it works on this particular machine or the 10-watt model, which they are also supposed to be sending me to test as well. So we will see. Your feet, rails, power cord, and that is it in the box. All right, guys, let's get this put together. So first thing you're going to do is go ahead and lay out your rails, and you'll notice one with a little nib on the side. That is one of your stops. Then you have these little L brackets, which are actually kind of nice because my other 5-watt laser did not have those, and so I had a little bit of issue when I screwed the thing together, the thing not being perfectly square in all 4 corners, and so it didn't sit perfectly flat on the feet. Well, these little things like slide into the little slots in the rails, and that kind of guarantees that your rails are going to be square to each other. So that was a nice touch. Next, you can go ahead and screw on your feet, and you'll notice I tried a couple different directions. Well, there is 2 holes kind of on the inner side, and you want your flat part of your foot facing out, and then it's going to line up. But the main thing is there's this little slot where there's a tab. That is actually where the belt goes that you're going to thread through that little bitty hole. So make sure that little hole lines up with that slot. Next, you'll slide your gantry on before you screw the very end piece in, and that makes it so much easier. You don't have to take anything apart. You just slide it on, and then you'll go ahead and screw your last little bar on at the end. Then what I'm doing is I'm going around and I'm tightening all of those little L brackets on the inside that I slid in, and then just snugs everything down nice and tight, and then it makes sure everything is nice and square. Next, you're going to go ahead and screw your control module on, and that screws to the last spot in place of one of those legs, and there is 2 mounting screws, one on either side, that you're going to go ahead and screw that down. And next, we just make sure that everything rolls nice. Next, we attach the laser module itself, and there is a height adjustment screw, one on either side, left and right, that you'll have to attach. I do wish they'd put a single one instead of dual, which would make it easier to adjust. And here you can see I'm adjusting it on either side. Now once that's down, you want to move around to the back, where you'll have to install these little screws with these plastic bushings to keep your laser module from going too far down. They kind of act as stops. Now you move around to the front, and you've got your belt that you have to thread. So you kind of go in that little slot, under, over, under, and then back out through here if you can follow that. Then you'll put these little guys in here, and once they're in, you kind of twist them around till they fit underneath the rail, and then pull your rubber piece tight. Do the same thing to the other side, and then you add tension before you finally tighten it down, and then you'll do it to the other side. Our last final piece of our assembly is just plugging in all of the stepper motors to the power cable, and they are all numbered. I was trying to show you the numbers here, but just pay attention. You have an X and Y, and they correspond to X and Y gantries. Now, here comes the fun part, is turning it on for the first time. So turning this on the first time, you're going to make sure that your gantry is pulled all the way to the front left corner, and that's the home position. Because this doesn't have limit switch on it, it recognizes the home position through the programming. Now, once you've powered it on, you'll notice that you have a really pretty looking touchscreen. This right here is the little 3% laser indicator. If you go over to your tools, that is going to give you your firmware versions. Engraving is where you would plug in an SD card, and that would be. And then this is where you can toggle your machine. And a single push moves at a single time, and you can't just hold it to make it do a long travel. But that's okay. And then you can hit the home button and it returns back to home. Now we have to make this machine work, so we have to connect it to LightBurn. So first thing we're going to do, obviously, is plug it in and turn it on. We're going to go hit Devices, find my device, and just go ahead and hit Next. Wait for my computer to think. Still thinking. And now it found Gerbil controller. We'll just go ahead and click on the first one that comes up here. It's okay, you can really click on probably either one of them, but we'll go ahead and click the first one. If you'll notice the millimeter settings is not correct, that's okay. We'll go ahead and correct it anyways. So once we've clicked on that, we're going to go ahead and need to fix the size. And the X and Y axis are 410 by 410. Now we're going to go ahead and rename it, and we're going to name it the Longer 5 watt, just so we can keep track of our different lasers that we're using. And go ahead and click Next. Our home is in the front left corner, and hit OK, and you're finished with that. Now to get this to work correctly, you're going to go ahead and need to close LightBurn completely, and then open it back up and restart it, and it should work just fine for you. Now we are going to do some test cutting. So we're going to spell the word test. We're going to start off on 4 millimeters a second at 80% power on this Baltic birch plywood that they sent you as test pieces. I believe this is 16th. Yeah, it says 5/64 on a calipers, but it's 16th inch Baltic birch ply. So let's put our safety glasses on that they sent us and go ahead and hit start. Now while this is cutting, one thing I want to mention is there is a metal set block to set the appropriate height for the laser. You actually have to put it behind the laser, so it's a little bit cumbersome if you're adjusting the height a lot, because you have to reach around and put this behind. Then you have to lower the two knobs on either side, slide it down so that this little block is touching, and that gets your appropriate focal distance for your workpiece. Would have liked to seen them stick it on the front just so it's a little bit easier access, but it's not a huge deal. So as you can see, letters fell out really nice. And this machine does not have air assist hooked up. Came out quite nice, actually. So next, let's do some engraving. So next, we are going to try this image of Deadpool. So let's go over to our image settings. And we're going to do this in grayscale. I'm not the absolute best when it comes to adjusting image settings, but we will see if this turns out. So my very first attempt, that actually looks pretty good. Has quite a bit of depth to it, only just a little bit of creosote soot right there. Now this all has to do with my settings and not the laser. But this was set up in grayscale, and I think it did a pretty darn good job. Now one thing that is quite unique about this particular machine is that it comes with a touchscreen. And not only does it have a touchscreen, but supposedly it has the ability to control with LightBurn. Now, this right here is my laser dot pointer, so I can turn that on. And that is my indicator. It's only at 3%, so we'll go ahead and leave that guy on. But we'll come back here to Tools, and then Wi-Fi settings, then I'm going to go ahead and pick a Wi-Fi that my computer is running on. So in Tools, you would do your Wi-Fi settings, connect to Wi-Fi, pick your Wi-Fi. Once it's connected, you'll have your IP address. That IP address you type in the browser on your computer, and it leads you to a website where you take whatever files you currently have on your computer and from that website, and then that website basically sends it to this. Kind of cool, a little bit of a hassle, just because it would be nice if LightBurn had a feature where it would talk directly, so you're not having to exit out of LightBurn or save something from LightBurn and then open it up in here. Unfortunately, I've tried this a couple times and I have not been able to get it to connect. Now, this is firmware version 1.2. I can check online to see if there is an updated firmware version. That might fix the problem, but that is okay. It is cool, though, that you do have a touch screen. I don't know of any other diode lasers out there that has quite the touch screen this has. So that does make this unique. Now, this current version of the machine does not work, or it does not come set up with Air Assist. Now, the models above this do have a plug on the side that you would plug your Air Assist in, and really neat, this is controllable through LightBurn to turn your Air Assist on and off. Now, the 5-watt version does not have that feature, so you probably have to add Air Assist and then just turn the pump on and off manually, whereas the upper models have the plug on the side that if you do add the Air Assist module, LightBurn can control your Air Assist. I don't know of any other machines currently that have a controllable Air Assist through LightBurn, so that is a really neat feature. Other than that, this seems to be a really well-built machine. So the next project we're doing here is we are cutting out some 3mm black acrylic. This is non-opaque acrylic. And we're going to make a keychain. So we're lasering a logo of the church that I go to on this black acrylic. And we're first doing the engraving on it. And then once the engraving is done, it's going to do the keychain holder. And then it's going to do the outside, and I'm having it do it in 2 passes just to make sure I make it all the way through, and it only took about 8 minutes to do. So let's take a look and see what we've got here. So it drops right out, and the little center thing fell right out too. There was just a little bit of stickum left on the bottom, but as you can see, the engraving lines are very nice and crisp. I got some good depth on it. So let's go ahead and peel this paper off to see how it looks. And this is always the best part, just the reveal. So really crisp, clean lines, and it did a fantastic job on the engraving of this keychain. Well guys, that's it for this video. So here are my closing thoughts. What do I think of the Longer 5-watt diode laser? I really like it. I really like this touch screen. It's nice to be able to turn the laser pointer on and off and toggle and do some fine adjustments directly from the screen versus having to be hooked up to the computer. I also like the option of being able to do stuff not being tethered to a computer. Now, I wasn't able to get it to work, and that is not a fault of the machine. That's probably something on my end. Just need to do a little bit more playing with it, and I'm sure I'll be able to get it to work. If there was any improvement that I would like to see on the machine, and it's only a minor gripe, is one, I would like to be able to see a single adjustment knob here for the raising and the lowering of the focusing, as well as being able to focus from the front instead of the back, because I don't like to have to reach around the back, loosen 2 knobs, drop it down, tighten it back up. Other than that, I am really impressed with how smooth the machine seems to work. Yeah, other than that, I think it's a great machine. Now, obviously, more power on a diode laser is always better. Then you can have the option of cutting thicker material. But if you want to start off basic, the 5-watt is a great place to look. Now, just for fun, I went to my competitor over here, and I won't mention the name, but just to see if this laser would cut equally as well. Now, they are both 5-watt lasers, and I cut out both of these. Now I know you can't see close up the differences, and actually I could not tell any difference. They both worked as expected from a 5-watt laser. They did engraving quite well. So if you're in the market for a laser to do engraving and some small amount of cutting, I highly recommend checking Longer out. If you want to know more about it, I will leave a link in the description below. But stay tuned for more videos because I plan to do some more videos on these Longer diode lasers. Thanks again, guys. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and until next time.